What is up, car addicts? In this video I'm going to be giving a guide for this week's HSW Time Trial for next-gen consoles only, also this week's normal time trial, RC Bandito time trial, and the premium race totaling over $550,000. Remember, the time trials can only be completed once during the event week period for the full payout. The premium race, however, can be completed in a limited amount of times with a 48-minute cooldown between each win. Also keep in mind that rocket-powered / flying vehicles cannot be used in time trials. So starting off with the HSW time trial, which is East Vinewood. This was the first ever HSW time trial, so there's currently only 8 HSW time trials in game, and since it's been about 9 weeks since the next gen version of the game released, I guess now they're going to just start to rotate them over, very similar to how they do with the normal time trials. Again, remember guys that you can only use an HSW upgraded vehicle for these time trials, and the best one is obviously the HSW drag with the HSW upgrade, which is insanely fast. However, I wanted to pick something that I haven't used in an HSW time trial yet, so I chose the Coil Cyclone 2. Now in terms of route, the one that GPS shows is generally pretty good and you will be able to complete it with that route pretty easily, but there are some shortcuts which I show on my run that are a bit quicker. And as usual, the part time for this time trial does change depending on what vehicle you're using, so keep that in mind. Moving on to the normal time trial this week, which is Route 68. I highly recommend either the Pariah, Italy GTO, the Vest 8, or a quick bike for this time trial. And obviously if you're on next gen, I recommend using the HSW HSW drag. Now in terms of route, the one the game gives you is pretty much what you want to take. It's a very easy time trial that's mainly top speed bias. Now usually for these time trials I challenge myself by picking either the prize ride challenge car or the casino podium car of a corresponding event week, and for this week we have the Verlier as the prize ride car and the Ardent as the casino podium car. Now the Ardent doesn't have a chance of beating this one, and honestly I didn't think the Verlier would be able to beat it either, but I did give it a couple attempts and I was finally able to beat it with the Verlier. Moving on to this week's RC Bandito Time Trial, which is La Fuente, Blanca. As always, you need to own an RC Bandito in order to participate in these. As usual, these RC time trials are always tricky and require a lot of precise steering and throttle inputs, and this one in particular has a ton of tight areas and high speed areas as well, so make sure that you're extremely gentle with your steering and throttle inputs, and of course use your brakes a lot before those tighter sections. And lastly, we had this week's premium race, which is Muscle In. This one is restricted to the muscle cars class. I highly recommend the Buffalo STX for this race. No other car can touch it on this particular track. It is very overpowered because it literally has sports car level of handling and a relatively high top speed. Now for this race, I recommend practicing the normal version of it first before jumping into the premium one, because a lot of the cornering sections can be a bit tricky. And that's it, guys. The HSW Time Trial is pretty easy if you use the route I show. The normal time trial is easy as well if you used a fast car or bike. The RC time trial is pretty tricky, but just take it slow, use your brakes a lot, and you should be fine. And this week's premium race is a bit difficult, but if you give it a couple practice runs on the normal version of the race, you should do fine. Again, remember guys, you can earn over $550,000 between the four this week, and setting yourself a goal to beat them is always a lot of fun in my personal opinion. Let me know which one you found most difficult and what vehicles you used down below in the comments. Thanks for watching, guys, and I'll see you in the next one.